Hello, and welcome to Chapter 3, Organizing and Drafting Business Messages, Sections 1 and 2. With today's advances in technology, many people believe they will never be required to write on the job. The truth is, however, that business, technical, and professional people in this digital age are exchanging more messages than ever before. The first lesson that we're going to look at is drafting workplace messages. Being able to write clearly is also critical to promotions. This chapter addresses the second stage of the process that we learned in Chapter 2, which involves gathering information, organizing it into outlines, and drafting messages. Research is the act of collecting information about a certain topic. To avoid frustration and inaccurate messages, writers will collect information that answers one or more of several questions. What does the receiver need to know about this topic? What is the receiver to do? How is the receiver to do it? When must the receiver do it? And what will happen if the receiver doesn't do it? And there are basically two types of research methods: formal research methods and informal research methods. Let's begin with the informal research methods. These include research for many things such as emails, memos, letters, informational reports, and oral presentations. And they often take one or more techniques. Number one, searching through your company's files, talking with the boss, interviewing the target audience, conducting an informal survey, or brainstorming for ideas. Formal research methods, on the other hand, involve research for long reports and complex business problems. You tend to have to go outside of the company, at least the nearby environs of the company, for this type of material research. It usually involves accessing electronic sources or searching manually through public and college libraries. This is be the kind of the traditional research that we're used to, as well as investigating primary sources and in some cases conducting scientific experiments. Now, our second section that we're going to look at today involves organizing information to show relationships. Once you've collected the data, through the research process, you have to find some way to organize it. Organizing includes two processes: grouping and strategizing. Well-organized messages group similar items together, ideas that follow a sequence that help the reader understand relationships and accept the writer's views. Unorganized messages are a mess of gobbledygook. Many communication experts regard poor organization as the greatest failing of business writers. Now, there are two simple techniques that can help you organize your data. The scratch list and the outline. The scratch list is a list of topics you want to cover in a message. Most writers, though, need to organize their ideas, especially if it's a complex project, into a hierarchy such as an outline. This gives you a chance to organize your thinking before you get bogged down in word choice and sentence structure. After you do your outlining or scratch list, you have to think about how the audience is going to respond to your ideas. And we have two strategies on how to approach ideas based on how the audience will react. If you think that your reader will be pleased, mildly interested, or at worst, neutral or okay with what you're going to say, you can put your main point in the first or second sentence of your business message. Remember that your main point is your purpose for your message. For example, let's look at this example. The Management Council has voted to begin a college internship pilot program next fall. We know exactly what's going on there. And there are several advantages for the direct strategy, which is sometimes called front-loading. Number one, it saves the reader's time. And if you remember from Chapter 2, we talked about business writing needing to be efficient and concise. It also sets a proper frame of mind and reduces the frustration of trying to find the main point of this writing. However, if you feel that your reader will be uninterested, unwilling, displeased, or perhaps even hostile to what you're going to say, you would use the indirect strategy. In other words, you're only going to reveal the main idea after an explanation and evidence. This is best for bad ideas, bad news, ideas that require persuasion, and sensitive news. In other words, somebody's being fired or funding is being cut. So let's look at this example. Our company has been concerned with attracting better qualified prospective job candidates. For this reason, the Management Council has been gathering information about an internship program for college students. After considerable investigation, we have voted to begin a pilot program starting next fall. You don't really know what's going on fully until you get to the last sentence. They try to give their reasons and the background information and the explanation before they drop the bomb. And again, there are several advantages to this. Number one, it respects the feelings of the audience. It facilitates a fair hearing and hopefully minimizes a negative reaction. Now, messages that tend to use the indirect method include emails, memos, and letters that refuse requests, deny claims, and disprove credit. However, persuasive requests, sales letters, sensitive messages, and some reports and oral presentations may benefit from the indirect strategy. And sometimes you'll have a message that's actually mixed. It'll incorporate both the direct and indirect strategy. Just a little bit of that softening rather than the 1-2 punch of the direct approach. So now what you're going to do is you're going to complete the Google Doc for 3.1 and 3.2. If time remains in the time allotted, you may work on your research project or read sections 3 through 5 of Chapter 3. If you do not finish in the allotted time, the assignment is for homework.